On the air since 1951. This is The Legend. 105.3, 95.3, WDXE.
Hey, it's time for a Friends and Neighbor Hour.
Yes.
And strangers in town.
That's it.
Strangers in. You got your microphone fixed?
Yeah, I got my microphone fixed.
All right.
Get your cup of coffee or favorite soft drink and settle down for a minute.
If you don't recognize that voice or that head, it is.
That's right. I sound like
Durham.
That's weird. I got this weird sound, like
What's
I'm
the
on
weird
the other side of the room or something.
Well, I'm having to use the guest mics for my mic and everybody's mic. So all these mics are on.
So I'm picking up on your mic.
See that mic over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's supposed to be my mic. Let me have it.
Oh.
And number one, well, dang, now it's working.
It's working.
Checking. You know, it's moody.
It is moody.
Yeah,
now it sounds good now.
So it decides to work and then it don't work. So I don't know why that is. But anyway,
We may need to come in one day and rewire this
I'm gonna
console.
just leave it like that for now
Okay,
because that one's moody. It may cut out on me.
I got you.
I gotta get it fixed.
Well, I got some crackers I need to share with you today.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm in the sharing.
Peanut butter crackers.
Yeah, these are good.
Yeah. Well, so what have you been up to, man? It's been, what, 2-3 weeks now?
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. I do have a job, and so that's outside of this radio station.
We do have real jobs.
Yeah, we have real jobs, and that gets in the way.
This is not a real job. We have real jobs.
So the last few weeks, my real job has gotten in the way, and it's going to get in the way again today. I've got a 9 o'clock meeting that I have to prepare for before I go into, so I need to leave a few minutes early. So,
But that's going to really mess me up.
will it?
Yes.
You can play some music.
That's going to really mess me up.
You already messed up anyway. Did you even do word of the day?
I did.
Okay.
The word was tantamount.
Okay, I don't even know that word.
Tantamount.
Tantamount
Tantamount.
or tantamount?
No, tantamount.
Okay.
You know, the sentence was the fans of her music took any criticism tantamount to a crime. It means equal to, or it means equal to, basically.
I got you. Well, I would have never known that.
Tantamount.
Yeah. So,
You know, if I ate one of your cookies, it would be tantamount to stealing.
no, it wouldn't because I've offered it to
I
you.
know, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes. Oh, yeah, without me knowing.
Without you knowing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm reading an article. I've been mesmerized by this whole. You remember I think the last conversation we got in was this whole around the moon conversation.
The round the moon.
Okay, so if you remember, we were having a discussion about the first time the astronauts saw the backside of the moon.
That's correct.
And the news outlets were saying that, but now they've corrected themselves, and I stand corrected because you're right. They saw the back of the moon, and I mean, goodness, if they were looking out the window, they would have saw it back in the 60s.
That's right.
And so, but this is the first time they've been that far away from it. They could see the whole back of the moon at one time.
Yeah, they did correct themselves.
Yeah. So I like, well, how does that even get into mainstream, media and talked about?
They took a big long slingshot around the moon.
You're right about that.
So they hurled themselves around the moon and back.
Yeah.
Did you watch the landing when they?
I did.
When they did the splashdown.
Yeah.
I did
I
too.
don't want. It took forever.
Yeah, it did. It seemed like it took forever for them to get them out of the capsule.
Yeah. It's like open that thing up, get them out.
Yeah, I don't understand all that.
They sent sniffer boats out there to make sure they didn't have any kind of weird odors,
Alien dust.
alien odors coming off of them.
Some alien dust or something.
I thought, well, that's pretty cool. I mean, if you're on that ship and that's your job, that's a pretty cool job, ain't it?
You know, there's some conspiracy people out there that believe there are some creatures that live on the backside of the moon, but they didn't see them.
Yeah. I mean, there's some.
Wasn't it you that was telling me that there was big stations built and aliens living on the backside of the moon?
No,
Didn't you tell me?
no, I don't.
That wasn't you?
No, I don't remember having that conversation at all.
Somebody told me that.
Oh, maybe. No, it wasn't me. No, because I don't believe in aliens.
I don't actually.
But you better not say that out loud these days, because have you seen in the news where 11 scientists that have been or people who have secret knowledge of whether there's aliens or not have disappeared or died?
That is concerning.
Yeah, so they got a probe into that now.
Yeah, they do, and I think they're probing a little bit late. They should have been probing already.
Yeah, they should have started like at number 3 or 2
there's
or
like
3.
something's not right about that. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, 11 is a pretty good pattern. So,
yeah, I would say so.
I don't know. Maybe there's an alien walking around that's snuffing these people out.
That's not an alien.
Or maybe they've really been abducted. Some of them are just missing, right?
Some of them are missing, and some of them were actually, died under mysterious circumstances or
Yeah.
whatever.
Wow, that's weird.
So I
That
don't
is
know.
weird. So another, you rarely look at the news and see something good, but there was something good in the news today.
Yeah?
Yeah, there was. And, Victor Glover was on, since we're talking about that space mission that we just saw go around the moon, Victor Glover was the pilot on that.
Okay.
And he said something very profound. And I don't know if you know Corey Brooks. Do you know Corey Brooks?
The senator?
No, Corey Brooks is a pastor in Chicago.
Okay.
He was born in Tennessee and moved to Illinois. Now he pastors a church in probably what's considered one of the worst neighborhoods in Chicago.
Okay.
And he's trying to clean the place up and
Oh, I was thinking of Cory Booker.
yeah, no, it's
No, that's different.
Yeah, it's Corey Brooks.
Okay.
Anyway, he has an opinion on Fox News today, and it says this: America must choose between faith, order, and a culture of lawlessness. Now, I think he's right about this, and he quotes Victor Glover.
Okay.
So Victor Glover is the astronaut that just went around the moon, and Victor Glover had a pretty profound statement there, and I want to read that to you today.
Sure.
So the first message came from NASA astronaut Victor Glover, the mission specialist on Artemis II, when this accomplished American hero returned home, still in his flight suit. He was greeted by his entire neighborhood. He stood before them and spoke words straight from Scripture. Let's be more. Let's be neighbors. God told us to love Him with all that we are and to love our neighbors as ourselves.
Oh, wow.
Wow, what a profound message from somebody that just got to see the world from a perspective that nobody else gets to,
Yeah.
And I can't imagine what it's like being out there knowing that God created the universe,
Yeah.
and you're out in what I consider to be the universe looking back at Earth.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine what that's like, and to me, there would have to be some type of spiritual movement during that time.
You'd think, and what a contrast, because I heard that, when the cosmonauts, the Russians, first went into space,
Yeah.
they went up and said, we went up there into the heavens and looked around and there is no God.
Oh, wow.
And so then you have the other perspective of some of our people of faith who went there and come back saying you can't deny that there is a God.
That's right. And the Bible says in the book of Psalms, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God.
That is true.
So
that is true.
maybe we can call them foolish.
Yeah.
So-
In our opinion, they are.
Yeah.
And it's not our opinion, it's Scripture.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We didn't make that up.
I didn't make that up.
We did not make that up. So anyway, all right.
So I thought that was a pretty good, and that's a good read. If you're on Fox News today, that's a good read. And the title is "America Must Choose Between Faith, Order, and a Culture of Lawlessness." It's a very good article. And then go look up Corey Brooks.
We'll look him up.
Corey Brooks. He's got a pretty amazing story. He's and if you watch any TikTok, or if you got Twitter, or you've probably or YouTube Shorts, you've seen Corey Booker. Or Corey Brooks, not
Corey Brooks.
You got me saying Corey Booker.
I know.
Corey Brooks, but he's very outspoken, and so he talks about growing up, his mom taking him to church.
Yeah.
And regardless of what he did on Friday and Saturday, his mom made him go to church, and so
Yes.
and he became a pastor, and so
Wow.
he's an interesting character himself, but the story today is really a good story, because I think that's when Jesus was asked what the greatest commandment is, what did he say? Love the Lord your God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah. And on these two things hang the whole law.
Yeah.
So, and that was a response of one of the lawyers there.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty amazing, really. Pretty amazing. And I don't know. It's easier said than done.
It is.
Evidently.
But haven't we always been at that juncture, though, to choose between what's right and what's wrong? That's basically what he's saying, right?
Yeah.
Is we're at a juncture now, and it probably seems more than anything else, because now it's like it's at a government level, it's more than ever, it's like this good versus evil on Capitol Hill, and you got all these warring factions up there. I don't know why anybody would even aspire to go to Washington these days and be involved in all that.
It's a pretty nasty business, evidently.
Yeah. And, I think the
But somebody's got to do it. And
somebody's got to do it.
The intention, from my historical learning and understanding, the intention of the founding fathers was to have a citizen government.
Yeah, absolutely. Of the people, for the people.
And of course that was the whole idea. It was a whole new concept. And we're about to celebrate 250 years of being a nation.
Yeah.
But I don't think I don't know that the founding fathers had in mind what we're seeing a lot today, as far as career politicians that are in there. Say these guys that have been in there 30 and 40 years, I don't think that was ever intended.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you've heard me say it more than once. I think there needs to be term limits, whether that's 20 years or whatever. But or if there's not term limits, there shouldn't be rules that give you power based on your longevity. So you've heard me say several times that it depends on who you speak to at Capitol Hill, whether you get anything done, because there's certain people there that have so much longevity, you have to go through them in order to get anything accomplished. No matter how many other people you got on your side.
They're shoehorned in there, and you can't get them out.
Absolutely. And they build these war chests, and
even when it's obvious they can't even function right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not taking a side here for Democrat or Republican, because I've watched Mitch McConnell, who's a Republican, just zone out.
Listen.
Because he's too old to be up there, and it's obvious.
I love Lamar Alexander to death, but when he was in office, one of the last times I saw Lamar Alexander, I don't know that he knew that he was in the room with us, and I mean that in the most respectful way that I can say it, because he was a great. I think he was a great representative for us.
Well, I liked him. I liked him as a person. He just didn't seem very aggressive on anything.
He carried a big stick, though. That's another thing. He was up there for so long. He carried a big stick, and
Well, see, that's the thing. But they're rewarded for just being there.
Yeah.
And for
regardless of what they did,
the length of time, and anyway.
Yeah, I agree. But anyway, there's some good news today. And it's such a refreshing.
I'm trying to drag you into the negative, and you're talking about good news.
Yeah, I'm talking about good stuff here. So
anyway,
but it's good. I don't know if people go to Fox and read articles, but I sort of skim through them. But that's on Fox.
I usually do. I skim through the Fox News for just about most of the stuff, and then other resources as well. But they're handy, I guess. Well, we've got one of our regulars want to talk with us. Good morning. How are you?
Yes, this is not exactly positive, but I think it could be. I wanted y'all to discuss what you think about this. I listened to a professor who deals in statistics and data. And one of his ideas was how to help the people that are so important to us. We're talking about the middle class and lower and qualified that are working. We're not talking about people that don't work. We're talking about the workers. We're talking about the truckers, the people that deal with our food. Basically keeping our civilization alive for President Trump to sign something where they get increased pay. Nothing about taxes for the next year or anything. This doesn't have anything to do with that. His questions came up about this comment. He said this is not racial. This is not political. This is a practical thing working with data. These people are the ones that are the most impacted with what's going on. They're in charge of our living and getting our food and supplies and materials. There would be a cutoff date for a year or whatever, or two or whatever. I just thought that was an interesting concept, and I just wondered what y'all thought about something like that.
Okay, I'm not sure I'm familiar with exactly what he was talking about.
Well, I think I do.
Keith's got it.
But I like Peggy. She's always got some good statistics.
Got some good insights.
Share with us. But she's talking about doing something for the working people.
Yeah.
I think I sort of relate to that. I've been, I'm a hands-on type of guy.
Yeah.
And even in the business that I'm in today, I'm a hands-on type of guy. And there's a probably in every company that you go to, in every business, there's people that are required to coordinate everything, and then there's people that get their hands dirty and have to do the hard stuff.
Right.
Like driving the truck from point A to point B, which I can't do anymore because I'll fall asleep, those type of things. Or, you know, we're doing some sewer work. There's got to be somebody that's got to get down in the hole. And I used to think about that at the city, that when I was mayor, you know, we got office people that are required and their job's required for the city to function, but there's people out there that have to sweat and put pavement on the road and have to jump down in the hole when the sewer's blocked, or when it's 2 degrees and the water line breaks. Somebody's got to get in the hole.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's typically a thankless position to be in.
Right.
And I'm not talking about that specifically, but when you're in one of those jobs where you're in the production portion of whatever business you're in, it's typically a thankless position.
Yeah.
And you feel like you get overlooked from time to time, but you know, she's right. There ought to be some way of doing that, and I think companies are doing the right things, heading that way today. Because let's take for instance where we have a culture of where we work. And the first thing on our culture code is we are a true team, meaning we work together. There's nobody in our organization that you couldn't ask, hey, can you go with me and get down in the trench today? They will say yes. And that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
And but you know, I get what she's saying. You know, there's people who are vital to the way that you and I live today that we never think about. Just like electricity in your house.
Yeah.
You never think about when you flip that switch what it took to turn that light on.
That's true. We take that all for granted because it's been with us so long.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's well maintained and usually there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you do that though, but it's worth mentioning though. Those folks know who they are. And as far as I'm concerned, they're very much appreciated.
I mean, she mentioned something about President Trump signing something for increasing their pay, or something. I'm not sure how that would actually work. I'm not sure that could even be done as far as now. What can be done, I guess, from a government standpoint, is somehow reduce their tax burden.
Exactly.
And which would result in being able to maintain or keep more money, keep more of your money. That's one thing May, of course, has had a little part-time job. Daniel's working for me some, and we're trying to show them. Well, in May's paycheck, she got a reality check on how income tax works.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they took some stuff out of your money.
Oh, yeah, no, I know it. It's unbelievable. And you know, you think about all of the programs that go on that maybe you and I disagree with, that helps fund that every single time it gets taken out of our check, you know.
Yeah.
And I wish that I wouldn't mind paying if I could say, I want to designate my money to this area right here. Number one, I'd designate mine probably 100% to paying the military.
Yeah.
So I wish they would allow you to do that. And then these folks that want to do these programs or left-wing programs, and they want to do that, just say, hey, I want my money to go to fund that and be done with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if nobody wants to fund if nobody wants to fund the IRS, cut them out.
This will probably never happen, and it's not even on anybody's radar right now, but it's been up a time or two. The flat tax issue.
Yeah. And I would be for that.
I would be too.
Absolutely.
I would be too. Simplify the tax code, do a flat tax, and it makes all kinds of sense, but that's probably why it'll never happen.
Yeah, because it makes too much sense. And it's too easy.
It's too easy.
It cuts out all the paperwork.
It's too easy. It makes too much sense, and it actually diminishes government control.
Well, you're right about that.
Because they use the tax codes to manipulate things.
Well, you know, we can't even protest the government by not paying taxes because it gets held automatically.
That's right.
And so, you know, we ought to be able to do that. I mean, it's our money. We earned it.
Yeah.
So, you know, if we want to protest the government, we ought to be able to withhold our tax money.
Yeah, there are some folks that are seen as way radical, that believe that the government doesn't have any right to tax us at all. I caught you in the middle of a bite.
You did.
I caught you in the middle of a bite there.
Yeah, I didn't know you was gonna stop.
Well,
I'm eating crackers over
he's
here.
eating crackers over here. Well, let's see what Miss Peggy's got more on her mind. You there?
I am.
All right.
Even though he said this is not political, my interpretation, which could be way off base, was, because I got the impression he might not even be for Trump, to be perfectly honest. He didn't take a stand either way. Was something needs to be done. The polls are showing that his ratings are lowered with the war. These are the people who voted for him because of making America great, my job, and stuff like that. And that maybe he was suggesting they're so discouraged they either might not vote if they weren't for the Democrats, or if they did, they might vote for the other party. I just want to throw that out, maybe not for another discussion later on. I just find this really interesting because I know with me, the stuff that didn't apply to me, some of the tax things, and that's kind of like the difference between an immediate problem like the straight versus the getting rid of the long-term problem. Just wanted to throw it out.
Okay, so I'd like to talk about that for a second. So
roll on.
I might be one of those people who are discouraged with Donald Trump. I voted for Donald Trump. I don't mind telling anybody that. I voted for Donald Trump. I just don't think that, and I want to say this in the most loving way to those who may be listening, who might be on the Democratic side, but I just don't know where morality is on the Democratic side, and I don't say that I don't want to say that in a derogatory way, because they're folks just like you and me, and they need to be loved and loved on. But I think I'm discouraged with the war.
Okay.
And let me tell you why. I think we need to get it over. I think we need to go in. Look, they have lied to us. I've lived through the 70s. I lived through the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and the 2010s. I lived through those times, and there hasn't been a time in my life that Iran hasn't just terrorized the world with these threats, and not just threats, with their actions, and funding terrorist groups all around the world. And we finally got a president, and I'm proud of this, we finally got a president who will stand up and do something, but in my mind, it's not enough. I don't know why, and it might be the American way, but let's go get her done, get it over with. Quit dilly-dallying around.
Well, hang on
And
a
I'm
minute.
discouraged about that. Why don't you just go in and get it over with?
I'm going to undiscourage you.
All right. All right, but let me continue
finish
before you
up.
undiscourage me.
Finish up.
Because, I like it when the president, obviously the president can't stand up in front of the United States, and he got blasted for this when COVID was there. You can't stand up in front of the United States as the president of the United States and have a doomsday message, all right? That's just not good, all right? And it don't matter what's going on. If you stand up and give a doomsday message, you're giving the wrong message to the people.
Right.
But Donald Trump says we have complete superiority over the air and sea, then why are we going through these things today? So,
What things?
The things like the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay.
If we've got complete control of that, then why is there blockade still? Why is Iran still firing on ships? Get rid of those people. I mean, the bad, there's good people over and there's bad people. Get rid of the bad people that's firing those guns and making those threats. I guess that's where, for me, that's where I forgot the word that I was even trying to say, but that discouragement comes in. I'm not discouraged that Donald Trump went over there. I'm tickled to death he did. He's the only guy that I know that even has the guts to do it. And thank God for him. But get her done. Don't play around.
Okay.
That's just my message.
Okay. Well, I'm with you.
Okay.
But I'm also going to say, look at what they did do. They pretty much annihilated their entire military.
I agree with that. Okay, so if they did that, Jeff, why is there still standoffs today?
Because they evidently still do have some weaponry here and there, and and I don't have any kind of first-hand knowledge of it
Well-
whatsoever. And I'm like, I'm a little surprised that, okay, they fired, so how are they firing and from where? And it looks like we ought to be able to take wherever they're firing out.
I agree.
They're taking everything else out. So I don't know.
Every time that, we have the technology, and I read an article yesterday where like 26 ships evaded our blockade. How does that happen? How do you sneak 26 ships by us?
I hadn't heard that. So,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you're right about it, but I hadn't heard it.
Well,
But I've been out of the loop on some of the news for a couple of weeks. So
yeah. But anyway, it's I guess that's where I think the voters' discouragement's coming in, especially those who voted for Trump. I voted for Trump because I didn't see any other way out of the mess that we're in.
well,
And it was almost like this article said today. You've got to choose between life or lawlessness.
the other thing I'll say about this though is that at least in my opinion, you have a constant negative drumbeat from most of the media.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter what's going on. There's this constant negative drumbeat about how bad things are going. I've even heard people get on there how that Iran is winning,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. They're not
That's right.
winning.
They
They're not
are
winning.
not. No.
They're not winning in any shape, form, or fashion. Now they may take a strike here or there, but they're not winning.
That's right.
That's crazy. Anyway. that's
Well,
just
I
my
don't
opinion.
think Donald Trump needs to go in there and blow up their infrastructure
Yeah,
because
see, that's, I mean,
there's.
so what are you talking about getting more done?
I think we have the technology. I don't know, but I think we've got the technology that can, every time a gun is fired or a missile is fired, we can pick that out
Yeah.
and completely annihilate
It
that.
seems like to us that would be easy for the military to do,
Yeah,
but I'm not sure it is all that easy.
I don't know. I think we have the technology.
Well, we definitely have a lot, and we've done a lot.
Yeah, and they've got to be getting their orders from somewhere, from some command. Find it, destroy it.
Yeah, and I'm convinced that they're trying to do that. I just don't know that they've spotted them all yet.
Well, yeah, I agree, but
But again, like you, I mean, if we went in there and completely destroyed Iran's infrastructure completely, I mean, there's a lot of innocent people there
that's what I'm saying.
that are pro-America.
Yeah.
At least from what I understand.
There's a lot of folks there. And when I worked in Washington D.C., I worked with an Iranian guy that came over here because of the stuff that was going on in Iran. And he was as good as you and I, and we were super good friends.
Yeah.
And he was escaping a place that you couldn't live if you were against the government.
Yeah.
And it's sad that takes place. I guess I want the microwave version of the Gulf War. Just put it on 5 minutes and hit start and let's go.
Well,
Let's be done with it.
And of course, the other part of that is, I'm thinking this. You tell me if I'm thinking completely wrong. I think they've tried to be extremely cautious not to lose any American life because America don't want to tolerate that.
Yeah.
And so I think some of what has happened maybe is just been the holdback on putting any kind of boots on the ground or anything like that because, politically and our attitude in America is we don't want that.
That's right.
We don't want that at all.
Yeah.
We want to strike from a distance and we want to be safe,
Yep.
but war's not safe
It's not, no.
in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So it's kind of a catch-22 deal. I mean, on the one hand, they're very cautious and very confident when they do make a strike, but they don't want to risk anybody. And what you're saying would put maybe more people at risk.
No, I'm not saying put boots on the ground. I think we've got the technology to do it. And I guess my first thoughts that I expressed today would probably involve more civilian casualties than probably what was necessary over there. And maybe that's what they're trying to avoid.
Yeah, I think
There's
it's
a lot
some of
good
both.
folks over there.
I think it's some of both. I mean, I'm trying to think that we are the good force in the world.
But in the bigger scope, Jeff, is what do we do with China? I mean, you think about this. America is China's lifeblood. We are the marketplace to the world. The United States is the marketplace of the world.
Yeah.
And we are the marketplace of China. I would
It's complicated.
Yeah, well,
It's very complicated.
Well, I think it is, but if you walked into any dry goods store today, I would challenge you to pick up 10 things made in America. As somebody else that went with you could pick up 100 things made in China.
Yeah.
So there's just ship after ship after ship of stuff coming over here from China, and then we stop these ships in the Strait of Hormuz that are from China bringing in things to make munitions for the Iranians.
Yeah.
So
Well, I remember watching President Trump across the table from some European folks. And I forget what the talk was, but basically he said, you want us to help you here, but you're buying all your energy from Russia. You're buying this and that and the other. He's the only president that'll stand up to people like that. And I'm thinking, well, in the case of China, there's a balance here to some degree. We're supposedly threatened by China, but at the same time, we're doing business with China back and forth big time.
yeah, and China has probably exponentially much more capabilities than Iran does
But the concern is not necessarily, it could be, not necessarily military conflict with China, but economic conflict with China.
Yeah, and Trump tried that, and it was like, oh, you're being mean to the Chinese. No, you gotta realize they're stabbing us in the back.
Right.
The whole time.
Which was the point that Trump was making with that other foreign leader, is on the one hand you want us to help you, and you're helping our enemy.
Right.
And so this is the same thing's happening with China.
That's exactly right, and it has been forever. People want to be. It seems like the Communist Party in America is growing bigger day by day.
I think they're just louder.
Yeah, you might be right. They might be screaming.
I think they're just louder, and again, I think they're completely pumped by the media.
Yeah.
I think there's still a good core group of Americans that want to be Americans. Hey, good morning. You're on with us, WDXE. Hello, hello.
Good morning. Let's talk local, like a data center.
Okay.
Well, the data center has just got everybody's attention.
Yeah. So I didn't,
All right. You want to hang up and let us listen?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I don't have a lot of hard opinion.
All right. So I don't know what the hype is, to be honest with you. Why is there and people might want to call in and say, because I just don't know, and it's ignorance on my part. Why is there a negative take on the data center? That's what I don't know.
Well, it's blown up all over Facebook, and I've read some of the stuff about it, and then I've also listened to the broadcast and the podcast from Ryan Egley and from Vic Pusser that was done here at the station, and explained exactly what it is. I think there was a lot of misinformation about how big this place was, because there are some data centers to do with AI that are mega data centers that are evidently in other places of the country causing some environmental concerns or power usage and water usage concerns.
Yeah.
But according to what they said, this is not that. It's a much smaller footprint, nowhere near the energy use or water use as some of those big mega data centers, big mega data centers that are scaring people. But I think maybe some people thought that's what we were getting. I'm just guessing based on some of the Facebook posts and stuff. And there are still people that are against it, even though they have found out or told, even though the Facebook thing has come out and they've tried to explain, I guess, what it actually is and all that.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the numbers, but I think Vic said that some of those big places are using and I don't know my electricity, you do, but millions of megawatts or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is not even going to be close to that. And our energy capacity, according to Vic, and our water capacity will hardly even be scratched, according to this. Now, that's what they said.
Well,
it's not. It's very minimal impact. But people think, and it's been posted, that it's going to cause our electric bills to go up and water shortages and that kind of thing. So that's been the concern, that's been the blow up.
Okay, so I didn't, I don't know how that would happen, and I've been in many data centers, and.
I have too, they're all over the place.
Yeah, and, I don't know how that would happen, but I don't know, maybe somebody knows something I don't know, you know, and I usually speak out of ignorance, but.
Well, you're not,
this is
you
something
know what a
I
data
do know
center
a
is.
little bit about, and I don't understand what the hype is, and there may be some. What I thought is that there might be some hype around how it came about.
Well, there is that
So-
too.
So,
There's that
you know,
too.
secret meetings, or did anybody get invited to, you know, was it posted that the property's gonna be rezoned for this and all that kind of stuff? So and I'm telling you, I'm speaking out of ignorance, because I don't even know which piece of property it is. I haven't even driven by there, so I'm gonna try to do that today and try to figure out which piece of property it is.
It's, from what I understand, it's on Flatwoods behind Memorial Gardens across from, the other plant, the
Big magnet. So is it
Big
before
magnet.
the railroad tracks or after the railroad tracks?
I don't know that.
All right, so I believe the city limits of Lawrenceburg cuts off at the railroad
It
tracks.
should be before the railroad tracks, probably.
All right, so
Yeah.
I didn't know there was another parcel of land there. I thought Magna had that whole corner, but maybe they don't.
I'm talking about south on the, across the road from Magna. I think.
Oh, right behind the graveyard?
I think that's right. I may be wrong about that. I could be very wrong
All
about
right,
that.
so I don't know. And that's what I say. I don't know which piece of property they're talking about. But, you know, it wouldn't even come as a rezone to the planning commission if it wasn't inside the city limits, so.
Yeah, it has to be inside.
It
the
has
city.
to be on this side of the railroad tracks then.
Yeah, it's in the city limits.
Okay.
And from what I understood, it might not have been enough, and it wasn't, according to a lot of people on Facebook. But there were, you know, legal notices given there was a zoning change that had to take place, but it's been a couple of years ago, a year or two
Yeah.
ago. And there was a zoning change that took place in order to accommodate this. And there was a sign put up, I mean, it's been showed, people showed it on Facebook, out there, and then they had some kind of zoning meeting like they do. You'd be familiar
Yeah.
with that, they
Yeah.
do at the city. So what's the proper procedure when you're gonna have a zoning change anywhere in the city?
Well, I
Not
think
just
one thing that we
industrial
don't do in Lawrenceburg that I wish we did was, that there has to be a sign posted at least 90 days before the planning commission or the ZBA, acts, and to state the use of the property.
Is
They-
that the rule now, or is that what
It
you
is
said?
not, it is not the rule, but I think it needs to be the rule. Just like, in Columbia, if you're gonna build something in Columbia, they'll put a sign on the lot that says, there will be a such and such built here, and the hearing for this will be this date. And, it gives your neighbors time to look at the sign and say, hey, let's plan to go to that, or let's see what happens.
I don't think that they said what was gonna be built, they just said it was a zoning change to go to light industrial or something.
Yeah,
But there was a sign,
Yeah.
I didn't even read the sign, but I think that's what it said.
so, you know, the data centers that I've been in, you know, most of them are government data centers, but, you know, most everything today, back in the early 2000s, when we heard the term, in the cloud, have you ever heard anybody say that? Your data's in the cloud, we're going to the cloud.
Yeah.
Any data that's cloud-based resides in a data center somewhere. So, and in every company, or most companies these days do cloud-based software, because you know, I've been in IT for years and years, and it used to be that we had servers that held the data locally. Well, guess what? You have to have people there that make sure that stuff's backed up, and because servers are like anything else, they die, and your data dies with them. Whatever media you have them housed on, they go
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
So you gotta have that stuff there. So cloud-based data centers give you redundancy. They have multiple servers in there that the data is.
That's
for
what I
lack of a better
understood
term,
you to
strike
say, that this
across.
was a cloud-based data center of some sort, not an
Yeah.
AI data center.
Well, I mean, AI could be.
But
involved.
AI is everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So anything in the cloud, so if you use Microsoft Office or Office 365, that's cloud-based software. If you use TurboTax, that's cloud-based these days.
Right.
So,
Oh, listen, what was it, Microsoft Office
yeah,
is cloud-based.
yeah, exactly.
You know, all your Office suite, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
and so you know, my laptop can die right now, I got my laptop with me today.
Yeah.
And it used to be, hey, I gotta protect this 'cause it's got my data on there.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? My laptop can die and I can throw it in the trash and get another one and still have my data as soon as I can turn the other one on.
Because it's held in a data center.
It's in the cloud in a data center somewhere. That's
And
right.
That's what we want, whether and it's a trade-off, I guess.
Yeah.
If we want those kind of things, then it takes a data center to do it.
And that's just the evolution of computers. Back in the day,
Yeah.
it used to be worth your money to fix a computer because somebody's data is on there. But nowadays, most people's data is cloud based, and you can throw that computer in the trash and go get you another one for what it costs to fix it. So, and that's if I don't know if you've been in business, but how would you feel if you lost all of your data because it was on a single computer somewhere in your office and a tornado came or the building burned down or whatever? And your data's gone for 10 years or whatever. That'd be horrible.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right, I've got comments from
Okay.
in my text messaging here. I've got a
What time's
messenger.
it?
It's 8:47.
Okay, I'm fixing to
You
go.
got to go.
No, read on.
Well, this kind of changes the subject a little bit, but we're still on the. We had a comment here. They also said that giving $8.4 million to the solar folks would reduce electric bills. Haven't seen a decrease. So my question was, who gave the money? As they answered back, Biden administration through USDA rural development did. So I don't know. I don't know a lot about that deal. But I do know that we've got a couple of solar. There's one over in Giles County. I know that I pass by every once in a
Yeah,
while.
and there's one in Belvedere, a big one in Belvedere.
And there's one. Yeah, is that over
Go past toward Winchester.
toward Winchester?
Yeah.
It's a big one over there.
Oh yeah, it's monstrous.
Was the promise to decrease electric bills with that, or just?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know either. That's one thing I don't know a lot about the solar. But I know that they at one time were thinking that it would help, like with you. I mean, if you have solar panels, I have people that sometimes I run across people that have it on their house.
Yeah. Well, I can, and yeah, it decreases your.
So you can decrease your own electric usage from the power system, and
Right, and decrease your electric bill, but the problem is you got a solar panel to pay for.
you got to pay for the solar panel.
So that's why you have to calculate the return on investment, the ROI. How
Right.
it's going to cost you $30,000 to put it in, and you save $100 a month on your electric bill. It's going to take a long time
That's
to
right.
pay off your solar panels.
When we built our new house a few years ago now, it's been several years ago now, I tried to buy the most efficient HVA system I could buy, but I had to pay extra to get it. But it has paid off, I think, because it's very efficient. My power bills are very low. But there was an initial expense to it, and I don't really know, I didn't do the calculations really, on how long it'd take me to, because, didn't know what to estimate
You
the
probably
bill
haven't
would
got
be.
it paid off yet.
I probably have not really realized any savings based on paying for the unit.
Yeah, exactly.
But, because it was a high dollar unit, I will say that, but my electric bills are low.
Yeah, well, that's good.
That's a good idea, I guess.
Well, I guess I need to do a little bit of research on that to figure out what the hype is there. So,
Yeah, do some, and maybe we can talk more about it in your next visit.
yeah, I got people calling me like left and right.
Yeah,
Not about that, it's about work.
I know. We got to go do the real job, and you got to
I know.
leave a little early.
Yeah, I gotta leave a little early.
So I'll have to play some music and fill in a few minutes here. But thanks for coming in.
I don't want to leave people confused today. Thank God we got Donald Trump in office. But Donald, do your job. Get it done.
Go get it.
I pushed go on the microwave, on that war microwave, and I need to be done in about 5 minutes. So
I just don't think it's that easy, Keith.
it's not.
You may be right, but I don't
But
think it's
I'm
that
just
easy.
telling you, that's why people are anxious, because it's not over yet.
I think there's an abundance. I think they're doing what they do, and they're also using an abundance of caution,
Yeah,
which I'm glad that they are,
yeah,
for the sake of American lives, and the lives of innocent people.
yeah. I agree.
Okay,
They need to do it faster.
do it faster, I guess, but don't get hurt.
All right. See you, Jeff. I gotta go.
Get out of here. All right. Well, as Keith winds up and gets out of here, I'll be pushing some buttons and going off the cameras. So we'll take that down, and I'll return WDXE to some regular program. Be careful, Keith.
All right.
We'll see you next time. We'll turn that off. Let me hit that button again. There we go. Look like that. And that.